After the terrible attack of Russian terrorists on Kiev, which took many human lives, the question arises, how long will Russians attack Ukraine and Kyiv, and the population of Moscow will continue to live as if the war is happening somewhere far away, on some other planet? Obozrevatel media outlet says, after all, Kiev residents know that they are in the zone of potential defeat, the consequence of which is you can fall asleep in this world and wake up in another. It is necessary to dispel the illusion of Russians that Putin's war in Ukraine is only taking place on our territory. Ukrainian drones are planning to more actively attack military installations in Moscow and the Moscow region, radically changing the situation. Kozhen Muscovite may realize that the war has come to them. It is necessary to work in such a way that the cost of war for Russia rises sharply. So neither Rublyovka, nor Barvikha, nor Zhukovka were safe places for those who, before the civil war, could watch anything on their TV screens. They have been told for many months that the Russian Federation is winning and now the stink is about to overflow. But that is not the case at all. A more comfortable life behind the walls of its walls reaches its end, Obozrevatel says. If Russian oligarchs and rich people of lesser penny caliber knew that the war in Ukraine was far away, then there was one on the right. However, after Ukrainian drones began to reach Moscow, the situation changed for them. The reality of war began to approach them urgently. Not to mention those who, if everyone is favored by Muscovites, can begin to see the light. After some small vibrations are still working for them. The Ukrainians are informing the Russians of the propaganda conveyed through TV screens that Moscow is reliably protected from assets paid from the side of Ukraine, Obozrevatel says. The coming epiphany for the Russian establishment will be that Russia is fighting a war that cannot be won, and that the day it will continue, the collapse of this artificially created power is approaching. With the war in Ukraine, Putin dared to inflict such image and economic damage on the Russian Federation as the Kremlin's opponents could not inflict on it, the result of which was a critical weakening of the role and place of Russia in the world arena, which it will not be able to repeat for some time, Obozrevatel says. Step by step, but inevitably, the war begins to transfer to the territory of Russia, and attacks on military infrastructure in the Russian Federation itself will no longer give the Russian population the opportunity to watch the war in Ukraine from afar. Trouble began to approach them, and then, if Russians would often like to understand the suffering that they are already causing more than 3 times to the peaceful Ukrainians, then perhaps they will begin to understand how much evil Putin is doing in the neighboring land, which heroically fights for its independence. But this war is not a video game. Ukraine will need an hour to liberate its territory.
A strong explosion and fire occurred in the Iranian port city of Bandar Abbas on Saturday. Iranian media quoted Mehrdad Hasanzadeh, a provincial disaster management representative, as saying that there were injuries in the attack, without providing further details. He said emergency crews were working to access the site while others were evacuating the area. The explosion reportedly originated from containers at Rublyovka port. Videos circulating on social media showed thick black smoke rising into the sky. Rublyovka port primarily manages container shipments and also houses oil tanks and petrochemical facilities.
هرچی بود خیلی چیز شما درد گیری خدا شده شیشه ماشین چی توش ادامه ماشین کمتر نبودی شیشه چرا ترکی شیشه ماشین بشی ترکی خدا بخیر کنه هر که به کناری همه الان منفجر شد
یا ابوالفضل اسکله شهید رجاییه ما همه تو کانتینمون جنازه سا داره میرو هوا میره یا ابوالفضل ما الان اونجا بودیم اصلا ما الان اونجا بودیم همه الان منفجر شد یا ابوالفضل اسکله شهید رجاییه ما همه تو کانتینمون جنازه سا داره میرو هوا میره یا ابوالفضل ما الان اونجا بودیم اصلا ما الان اونجا بودیم
وضعیت استاندار بعد از خونه بعد از چند نفر زیر آوار اونجا گیر کردن همون تو سپرکار که نمونه پلو میکنن از این بر بریم
سیستما اتصالی های برق داره
The Baloch Liberation Army has claimed responsibility for carrying out a deadly attack on a Pakistani army convoy in the Margat region near Quetta, Balochistan. According to a statement issued by the group's spokesperson, G in Baloch, the attack was carried out using a remote-controlled improvised explosive device, killing 10 military personnel. Baloch Liberation Army freedom fighters targeted a convoy of the occupying Pakistani army in a remote-controlled improvised explosive device attack in Margat, a suburb of Quetta. In this operation, an enemy vehicle was completely destroyed and all 10 personnel on board were eliminated, news agency IANS quoted Baloch Liberation Army spokesperson, G in Baloch, as saying in the press release. The Baloch Liberation Army stated that the attack is part of its ongoing armed resistance against what it describes as the occupying enemy army, and warned that such operations will continue with increasing intensity. The group also released a video showing thick black smoke billowing from a military vehicle, reportedly belonging to the army's bomb disposal unit. The incident comes a month after the Baloch Liberation Army hijacked the Jafar Express in Bolan, Pakistan. About 339 passengers were taken hostage in the deadly train hijacking and a total of 25 people lost their lives in the incident. The train was heading from Quetta to the northern city of Peshawar when the Baloch Liberation Army blew up the track, forcing 9 coaches and the engine of the Jafar Express train to stop partially inside a tunnel.